Hello everyone, and welcome back to another deck deep dive, having a look onto a division that changes quite a lot with the 1.0 build, and that might be pretty interesting to play there, as we gonna have a look here on the launch build. And this time around, it's Berliner Gruppierung, a division that has changed quite a bit lately, but not to the better. But now it gets a quite couple of nice buffs, and we're gonna have a look on all of that and how a good deck for them at launch might look like. So let's jump into this deck full of fighters for that lovely sweet dessert for the lovely Berliner. And yeah, let's have a look at the logistics first, where we have a lot of supplies. You can really print quite a bit of that. You could switch it out for one SPW as well to have a bit more CVs. You have 6 already though, and then you have a good amount of supply here. This deck really one of the best when it comes to that. Infantry wise, it has changed quite a bit as well. Here is our next leader card, as KDA Schützen are now a good bit different than before, and a good bit cheaper. They lost their RPG 7 for an RPG 2, which is really weak. Like, it's by far the worst RPG in the game now. The 10 penetration, it doesn't even one-shot a 2 armor vehicle frontally, but still one-shots 1 armor vehicles. Terrible range, pretty bad accuracy as well. But for that, they're also 10 points cheaper, and that makes them as a 14-man meat shield really efficient again, and that is where KDA should be. So I'm really loving this change. You have a lot of spam infantry that can go in front and have KDA Schützen around, and then you can follow it up with some AT weapons like the Modschützen Medis or the Modschützen BTR. And then the other unit that has changed quite a bit are the Modschützen Strela and the SVD version. They got an extra LMG, so they have 2 LMGs now, so they're a lot more efficient as well. And with that you have quite a lot of AA early on, next to all your next to good firepower, cost-efficient firepower. And this infantry tab here really strong now. Wachschützen, good RPG with shock, can be mixed nicely maybe with the KDA Schützen as well. Wachschützen RPO here with some RPO, and then we need the Conquerors a bit for ATGMs out of buildings. You don't need super many, so 1 card of ATGMs is enough in my eyes here, because in the anti-tank tab you have the anti-tank guns, but 1 Conqueror's card still kind of needed next to the Medis. That is quite nice. Artillery, we come around with good ARM 70s. They have been nerfed a bit in their reload time, but they are still quite strong. And then with the new accuracy changes due to based on max range and on the range you're firing upon, the dispersion changes there. That changes with the range and increases there. Long range guns are a good bit better now. So the M46, which is quite cheap, as it's a 130mm gun for 110 points, and has really long range, so it's really accurate. 410 points, we take these guys and we put them onto the battlefield, and then next to them the ARM 70s will do quite well. I think that's a nice combo to have some guns that can just constantly keep the enemy under fire, and then the ARM 70s which can just demolish the enemy with long rocket barrages. Tank tab, D55s, still pretty efficient, so we want to have those. And then a couple of anti-tank guns here coming around to just be able to hold flanks and be annoying to the enemy there. I'm not quite sure if the 85mm is worth it, or if you want to have 2 of the Rapiras. The ATGM on the Rapira are pretty key here as well, so that is a consideration. But the cheaper version here that also is pretty nice as a support gun with a relatively high rate of fire and so on, can be quite nice as well. So that's why I'm currently taking these guys. Recon has the really great Wachschützenaufklärer now, with a Dragunov, SDG, a decent RPG as well, and next to that Special Forces and Shock and Resilience. Like, this is an absolute powerhouse of traits. They are only a 6-man squad, that's their biggest weakness for sure, but with the sniper rifle and the SDGs, they have a decent, and this Special Forces trait, they have a decent firepower on the mid-range, and thanks to Shock are even relatively solid in CQC as well, so a really great all-rounder squad. The Waschützenaufklärer here, really nice. BRM1 as your longer range, sitting in a bush kind of recon that also can help out a bit with fire support or dealing with lightly armored vehicles. Though their main gun with the low accuracy is not perfect for that. But then we have also some really cheap recon here, KDA Aufklärers, which I like as well, to just bring them around, put them into places, and have some eyes there. So yeah, KDA Aufklärer there, doing a good job. And then in the AA, I'm unfortunately not the biggest fan of the ZBU that says U23 and the Shilka. Shilka's still underperforming in my eyes for sure. Not great for its price point, so I went with upvetted cubes. You need the radar AA, and the extra upvet here, I think you usually don't want to bring 6 in one game, and the extra accuracy and the extra aim time here can be quite nice. And same goes here for the normal Strela squads. You already have the Strela Mordschützen, so you don't need insane amounts of manpads here, so I'd rather have them upvetted, which, especially with the lower aim time, also helps them out aiming against any fast coming planes. And then the extra accuracy here is a big buff as well, from 35 to 45%, so that really helps the Strela 2M teams out as well. Still not a great missile, but I mean, they're only 25 points, so they're really affordable, and this 12 that you get here now can be brought in quite nicely. You have a lot of slots in this deck now as well, because the deck got buffed there as well, so it's not the biggest issue to bring 2 cards here. And then helicopters, we get some Mi-8s, Mi-8 TVs with rockets. Both of these are the rocket pod helicopter versions. And actually, you might just want to take the rocket 2 here, because more rockets better than less rockets. So, yeah, and 10 points there. Not that big. And now that they are a bit cheaper, 10 points cheaper, and that they can fire on the move, the Mi-8s have become somewhat useful again, as also the rockets now more efficient against building. So I think the rocket helicopters finally in a decent spot again, and I really want to use them more again. So helps out Berliner as well, clearing out enemy forward deployed position and stuff like that. I wouldn't recommend leaning too hard on these guys, but they can be helpful, and yeah, 4 of them is not that bad. And then we come to the air tab, where I went with quite a lot of overwhelming numbers in MiG-21 fighters here, and then a good amount of anti-tank here, Su-22 and Su cluster and AT, and the rocket one, as I want to test the rocket ones a bit more, though I still think they're not that great. You might want to switch it over. Rocket's now better against stuff against in buildings, but you maybe might want to switch over to either this rocket Su-22, as it has the extra gun pods, and these rockets actually land better, so that might be the better one. Or one of the L-39s, the bombing version, pretty decent as well, quite affordable. Yeah, actually, the UPK might be interesting here, or yeah, one of the L-39s, because I fear, even though the accuracy on these big rockets, it's still pretty terrible. Yeah, so, and they don't do too much, so yeah, don't take this. That was a mistake by me. Take the Su-22 UBK. This was the one that I was looking for. A good amount of rockets, good amount of gun pods, so this thing can strafe, and it's also kind of a menace in the head-on. And then, yeah, the L-39s are pretty cheap and can be nice as well. The double 500 kilogram bomb can actually do quite a lot of damage, but I find the UPK more reliable than an 80-point, easily one-shotted airplane here. So, with that said, this is the Berliner Gruppierung, especially the infantry tab changes, gonna make it a good bit better. Helicopter helps out, the cheaper slots will help out. So this deck for sure gonna be a lot more fun. The KDA and co, like the infantry that was supposed to be a powerhouse in, is now really strong, and that's the nice thing about it. Without it being just like spam forward deploy or so, you still it's more. Or it having elite infantry, it's more about mass infantry with still some quality behind it with the Mordschützen. So this is a nice, cool mix, and I really like this kind of idea for a division. So I'm looking forward to the division in launch build, and I'm going to play it quite a lot in ranked. So hope to see you there. If you want to check out the deck at launch, as always, code down in the description in the deck list. So feel free to use it and let me know how you do it down there as well. With that said, bye bye guys, and have a great day.